Bowling ball is how it's made. 65 million individuals in the United States participate in the sport of bowling each year, sending heavy balls down lanes at speeds of up to 20 miles per hour. It's easy to be fooled by the ball's apparent simplicity. The only distinguishing features are the finger holes and the bright colors. The balls are much more than simple spheres, and their costs range from a little under $50 to about $300. Bowling balls are developed to operate optimally on a variety of surfaces. Bowling lanes are not as straightforward as they appear to be either, and they are also intended to complement the playing style and physical capabilities of particular ballers. Mineral oil is applied regularly to the wooden bowling lanes to protect them from the impact of the bowling balls. The first two-thirds of the lane is often oiled rather heavily, whereas the final third of the lane is typically oiled only lightly. The exact degree varies from establishment to establishment. As a consequence of this, if the ball is thrown correctly, it will travel in a straight line down the lane until it reaches an area of the lane that is less oil, and then it will begin to bend in the direction of the pins as it obtains more traction. The best results can be achieved by adjusting the rotational parameters of the ball such that they correspond with the release style and power of the individual baller. This video will provide you with a general overview of the method that is used to bring today's bowling balls into existence. The processes involved in the manufacturing process of bowling balls might differ from company to company. The first step in the procedure involves creating the center of each bowling ball. By core symmetry and track flare potential ratings, the core of a bowling ball can alter the motion of the ball. The majority of bowling balls were assembled out of three separate parts over the majority of their history, which spans from the early 1800s to the early 1990s. To make the core resemble a pancake, only a small amount of substance with a high density was injected into the spherical core mold. The remaining space in the core mold was filled with a core material that had a lower density. At last, the core was positioned so that it was centered in the mold, and a layer of coverstock material that was approximately 1 inch thick was poured around the core. The process of making goods is now significantly more complex than it was many years ago. The core of every given bowling ball must first be designed and constructed as the first step in the modern manufacturing process of bowling balls. During the process of computerized design, a mold is produced to the shape of the ball's core. This mold is then used to manufacture the specific model of ball that is being manufactured. After the proper substance has been put into the core mold, it is left to set for a while. After that, the solid core will be extracted from its mold. The next phase is to complete the core of the project. Kiln tempering is a process that is used on some ceramic cores, for instance. Inserting the first core into a second mold and pouring material of a different density around all or part of it is one way to create a compound core. This can be done in any order. Pro shop pros have a wide variety of alternatives available to them while drilling the ball because many cores are made up of many pieces and have variable mass densities. The following step in the manufacturing process involves the production of the cover stock, which is more often referred to as the shell of the ball. The completed core is then positioned within a spherical mold that is referred to as the coverstock mold. The core is fastened to a pin that is embedded in the mold's shell and extends in the direction of the center of the ball. The pin ensures that the core is kept in the position that was designed for it. It is said that the core is pinned when the pin is pointing in the direction of the center of the mold. If it is tilted away from the center, the core is said to be pinned out, and the pin marking associated with the ball's center of gravity will be denoted by the final finishing process. After pouring the coverstock material into the mold, which completely encloses the core, the mixture is allowed to harden. Depending on the specific design of the ball, the coverstock may have a thickness of anywhere from 1 inch up to 2 inches. This range is determined by the design of the ball. When the ball is taken out of the coverstock mold, there will be a hole there that corresponds to the location of the core holding pin. After the hole has been prepared, a plastic dowel is placed into it and then glued into place. The coverstock and the pin each have a distinctive shade of color. Following the purchase of the ball, the pin will serve as a guide for the placement of the finger holes to make the most of the core design. The logo imprint that was molded into the ball is then given fill material to be put to it. This may be the same color as the pin, but it is also possible that it will be a different color. The logo is often placed at the very top of the ball, much above where it would be considered to be the ball's center of gravity. The ball is next turned on a lathe to the correct size specifications so that it can be completed. This is followed by the removal of sufficient coverstock to attain the desired form. The ball can also be scoured into the required size and roundness using a centerless grinder, which is another method for accomplishing this. The surface of the bowling ball is then treated to have the required texture once the process is complete. It is sanded until it has either a matte finish or an adequate degree of gloss, whichever the customer specifies. This is demonstrated by the fact that the roughness of the sandy material can range anywhere from 240 to 4,000 grit, depending on the finish that is wanted to generate the ball reaction capabilities that are desired. After being packaged, labeled, and accounted for, the ball is then sent off to the United States Bowling Congress, USBC, to be granted permission to be used. Quality control is an important consideration for every manufacturer. The United States Bowling Congress, USBC, has as its major aim the standardization of the sport through the development of equipment specifications. According to the laws that are currently in place, the diameter of a ball must be between 8.500 and 8.595 inches, and its overall weight must be no more than 16 pounds. There is no requirement for a minimum weight, and some balls weigh as low as 6 pounds. Samples of each model's ball need to be submitted to the ABC so that they may be tested and checked to see if they are up to the required specifications before they can be awarded the USBC stamp of approval. Around that time, 1994, the USBC decided to implement some new regulations. The rules of the USBC include restrictions on the maximum and minimum values for the bowling ball's radius of gyration. This term refers to the distance that exists between the ball's axis of rotation and its center of gravity. This value cannot exceed the range of 2.430 to 2,800 inches that the rule specifies. Other USBC criteria govern the technical qualities of bowling balls, including the surface hardness, hooking potential, and coefficient of restitution. The coefficient of restitution is a measure of the energy that is transferred from the ball to the pins. The production of bowling balls in today's industry is a highly technical procedure that is also extremely cutthroat in terms of competition from a financial perspective. When you are faced with the problem of selecting your next bowling ball, it is helpful to confer with a professional at your pro shop and/or someone familiar enough with your game to assist you in completing your collection of bowling equipment. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.